Hey everybody, it's Chad Campbell, Certified Functional Medicine Provider with Redesign You and Hope Family Care. Back for our update. It's been a little while since we've come on because we're kind of waiting for new stuff and new things to be able to bring to you. I want to speak to a couple things before we get started. One, social media, I don't even know what to say with this thing. The thing we're doing here is presenting facts over fear. Facts over fear. It's just the facts so that you can make the right decisions on what to do and what to feel instead of just the fear that's raging around us right now. So somebody made a post on social media and they misunderstood what was said, and the amount of bite back on that person and on what we're doing around here. This is the time for us all to come together, you guys. Our site is open for you to ask questions anytime you want to. Send us a comment, send us a question, please. I encourage you to, so that we can help you to understand what the facts are. Just to reiterate what we talked about before was that the death rate is 1%. That's what it was. That's changed. It's all over the place now. Could be as low as 0.3%, low as 0.03%, up to 1%. The sickness rate for those who become seriously ill or need to be hospitalized was up to 20%. But it all went along with comorbid conditions and if there was something else wrong with that person. So those are the facts, not Chad's opinion. Those are facts. So again, we're going to present facts here and only the facts. All right, so saying that, some people have asked from Florida and Georgia, when is your all's peak? And they thought that the peak was going to be this week for you guys, or that it might have passed, and unfortunately, they still don't know. You guys, it's still up in the air. Just like here in Arizona, things are still up in the air with the peak as well. They say maybe June 11th, but now they're saying with the hot temperatures. Guys, this is the thing, right? If you can just remember this, nobody knows. It's too new. They're studying it. We have to allow time for them to study this for us to know. So if we can hold on to that, then we can use our common sense for the rest of this. The social distancing, is it important? It's very important. It's very important for now if you're going to expose somebody who may be sick or an elderly or immunocompromised person. For us in our town, I had multiple testing. We've had a couple positives that we tested here in the office. And so then we had some mass testing happening. I thought for sure this week it was going to happen. Out of all of those people that were exposed to 2 cases, 0 came back as positive. 0. We don't know. We do not know, okay? So the scary thing with this for me, the scary thing for this is not the virus. All right, the complications and death and all that, yes, that's very scary. That's not the virus, which is the problem. Okay, so those complications, remember? But the scary statistic for me is there was a number out there that something like 700 people die per day of COVID in the hospitals. But 200 to 300 die at home every day from possible complications of COVID, meaning they were having chest pain and didn't go get checked out because they thought they were afraid of going and developing COVID. The diabetic whose sugars are completely out of control, who's having all kinds of complications because they're afraid of developing COVID. Those facts versus those fears. That's why you're asking, please do not give up your health out of fear. Talk to your doctor, talk to your primary care. It can be through televisits. Like we're doing televisits and Zoom visits and phone visits. And then when we bring them in, there's so many precautions that we take for this. And hopefully yours is doing the same. So please call them. Don't let your health go because you're afraid of something. Still take care of your chronic stuff, okay? So the big things coming out right now, antibody testing, which is exciting, but you have to remember, not all antibodies means immunity. So just because you show antibodies does not mean that you're immune or that you won't spread the virus. Okay, so the big questions with this antibody testing is, is it going to measure IgG or IgM? Because IgM goes away within 30 days, IgG will stay positive, showing that you had that exposure. Just because someone's positive, again, doesn't mean that that you're immune from it and that you're not going to spread it. And then the big question is, do you really mass do these labs? Because if somebody's negative, does that mean they can't go back to work? Does that mean they can't go take care of their family? And that's a decision that society has to make. So those are the big things with the antibodies, but it's coming, which is super, super great. So I've heard a lot of people talking about, well, they did these other testings, which then showed that there's a lot more of the virus than what we thought. Using Chelsea, Massachusetts, where the number was 30% higher than what they thought, as well as Santa Clara County, California, where it's like a 50 to 85-fold increase from what they thought was documented to who actually had it. So the controversy with these things are the way that the testing was done. Was that they put out some Facebook ads, had people in Santa Clara County had put out Facebook ads for people to come to an area to be able to test if they wanted. So it was a very small group, very selected group, and this was already a saturated area of it. So hope, and I'm hoping that that number is correct, that many of us have already had this, it's no big deal, we're gonna get past this, all of these numbers are wrong. But I bring in the facts. It's not a very consistent number based off of that. We also keep hearing about going back to life, that the peaks are down. Please remember, they've been focusing on New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Chicago. They've been focusing on these areas. And so when they speak of those things, those are for those areas. We have not seen a huge influx of this. We have not seen that. And in your community, in Georgia and Florida and Colorado and West Virginia and Kentucky, where everybody's watching these things, find out what's happening in your community. If there hasn't been a large influx of this in your community or many positives, it may not have been there yet. And you have to continue to use your common sense. Do not go off of what the media says, okay? Look at your area. They are focused on New York and these other places and political things. Look at your area, use your common sense, okay? That's as much as I can say about it. You hear about herd immunities. Just get everybody out there. Let's get this. Let's get it over with. Keep the elders inside while the rest of us go get this. All right. So the only concern with this, there's many, but the big concern with this is with the complications that we're seeing, that would completely overrun hospitals and the hospital ability if we just did it all at one time. And that would most likely be a huge medical crisis in all the areas of how to be able to take care of all those people. The other thing is, those people that get that, going around elderly people, they're gonna still get it, or those who get it from the herd immunity, as far as those who have comorbid conditions, diabetes, hypertension, who are not considered elderly, may still have those complications as well. So that's the big concern with all of that. Plus just the thought of locking up the internet just went out, sorry. So they don't know if it will really help that much because we're looking at two different responses in the immune system, an innate response as well as the adaptive response. And they're not sure, depends on which one's being activated, would depend on if it's gonna be beneficial. The good thing with this is it's gonna tell, time is gonna tell. So they're gonna start trying it, and then we'll be able to learn from this, and we'll be able to learn for the future from this, but there's still no known facts if this actually will work. The only things that we know, again, social distancing, trying to use the common sense things. And then the vaccine, you keep hearing about the vaccine, it's gonna take a while before it comes out. It's not gonna be anytime soon. You hear about other ones being made. It still has to go through all of the regulations and all of the testing here. So that's still going to be a little while as well. Okay, so social distancing, the last is the other part, which is very difficult because of the economic decline. So there's a lot of people wanting to go back, like in our area. We haven't seen this huge, big influx of it yet, and people are getting tired of being home, so they're wanting to start to get back out. Well, if it comes, then you guys know this is gonna be a time where it's gonna hit us. Okay, so again, I'm just asking, common sense, common sense. People have asked again what kind of supplements I use. Vitamin C, I use a GI shake. My vitamin C, my GI shake, I use an adaptogen because of all of the work that we're doing right now. And my vitamin D. For the days that I'm not out in the sun, I use my vitamin D on those days as well. I heard a webinar they did about showers, and you do all the precautions, but hot shower, cold shower, hot shower, cold shower, where like 15 minutes, you're in there for 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. There's no real research behind it, but they believe it's great for the blood vessels and for the nerves. So just something to think about. Just take it for what it's worth, right? My biggest thing that I want to get out with this is please. We knew doing this kind of stuff there would be some bite back, but please, let's do this together, okay? We got to do this together. Send me a message if you have a question. I would love to answer your questions. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing this for, is just to bring you those facts. But my big thing I'm asking everybody to please catch from this is do not let your health go because of fear, okay? You have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have heart problems, you have COPD, you have lung issues. Don't dismiss that because you're afraid. We need to continue to take care of those situations because we don't want you dying at home, all right? Call your doctor's office, call us, we'll set up the televisit, the Zoom, whatever it is to help you through that. Please remember, facts over fear, facts over facts over fear. And I'm asking you to share this with people so that we can all talk about facts, not the fear. So you have your support group looking up facts, talking about facts together, encouraging each other not to fall into the fear, and keeping common sense. Keep the common sense when we're talking about this stuff, okay? So if there's any questions, please send me comments, send me messages. We'll do this together. But for now, I still have no idea what this is gonna do. I still have no idea how to treat this in preventing all of this, except for what we've talked about. And I have no idea when this peak is going to happen, when it's going to go away, and when it's going to come back. Nobody does. Nobody. So we have to be willing to be dynamic and fluid with this and be willing to just take it as it comes, using our common sense and not just dismissing it as some rumor. Facts over fear. I'll talk to you soon.